Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, Gator, Induction and carsales.com.au. G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven and enjoyed.
G'day and welcome to a very special edition of Classic Restos. Now this event, more than anything else, would not be possible without the continued support of my major sponsors. They support me so that in turn I can bring you quality international motoring events such as this one. Now you can find out more about my major sponsors' websites when you visit classicrestos.com.au. Oh, can you believe that on today's show I've travelled almost 20,000 kilometres to Pennsylvania in the United States of America for Chrysler's at Carlisle. I've never been this far east before in the United States of America, nor have I been to what is deemed one of the largest Chrysler motoring events in the world. I'm also very proud to say that you're watching it first on Classic Restos. There's no doubt that Chrysler's at Carlisle is a true Mopar lover's paradise. There's Chrysler cars here from right across all eras of the Chrysler brand. You'll see classic and muscle cars, and it's all showcased by this enormous 100-acre show field. When the Americans do something big, they do it massive. Really, this Chrysler event here at Carlisle has everything. Doing TV shows here at Carlisle is simply a draw card. There is just so much to film and talk about. One car that comes to mind that is a knockout, we've got a 1958 Chrysler 300D. Now in 1958, power steering and power brakes for this particular car was standard. It was also the year of the electrojector fuel injection system. Would you believe that only 16 fuel-injected models were actually made, and today there's only one test mule in existence. Back in the day, a bloke by the name of Norm Thatcher set a Bonneville land speed record with one of these cars at an outstanding 156 miles an hour. The 300D was certainly a brute of a car, but elegant in style, and just 809 cars were manufactured. Over home, back in Aussie, we go to our car shows. Man might turn up with his hot dog stand, or it might be a pie for sale or something, but you know, here at Carlisle you're very, very well fed, and of course you'd expect it. After all, it's one of the biggest event places that you can come to in the United States. Have a go at the food court behind me. Absolutely sensational. If you're after pasta, pizza, burgers, fries, Dutch food, it's all here. And if the food court is not enough to whet your appetite, well, perhaps the big swap meet will be. Got Ed Brzezski now, events promoter here at Chrysler at Carlisle. Ed, you're going to take us around the buggy. Where are you going to take us?
Take you around the whole show. We'll get around the swap meet a little bit. We'll see some of the show cars, some of the special displays. Just give it a quick overview and check it out.
All right, away we go.
Fletch, what we've got here is the Survivor display. It's put on by Mel Major. He does the Mopar Survivors. All these cars are at least 85% original paint, original under the hood, original interiors. Some of these cars are 40, 50 years old and more. And we've got the 69 Super B here on the end. We've got the green Superbird. Got a nice 64 Plymouth Fury, 69 Roadrunner. Just a whole array of cars here. There's about 40 or 50 of them this year. The black car here is a Charger 500. It's actually a Hemi car. Up here we've got some emergency vehicles and TV, movie, and special interest. Somewhere, maybe he's not here yet today, but we're supposed to have the van from the Cannonball Run. One of the Roscoe Sheriff cars from the Dukes of Hazzard. And I know it's a car show, but you know, the wives and girlfriends, we like to have something for them to do. So we have the Women's Oasis here filled with crafts and massages, and they can get their nails done. Okay, over here on the left we're the beginning of the swap meet. By far the largest Mopar swap meet in the world. We sell almost 3,000 vendor spaces, over 1,000 different vendors. And there's pretty much everything here, from the early cars from the 30s right on up to late model stuff, and even stuff for your brand new 2010 or 2011. All the nice reproduction stuff that you can get for our cars nowadays. Okay, Fletch, up here straight ahead of us is our race and pro street display. These are all the cars that are either actually built for track use or at least to look like a race car. They're all tubbed, and a lot of them are pro streeted. Probably have up here on the Dakota, we've got a nice blower motor sticking out. The green Cuda here and the purple Challenger belong to a husband and wife team. The purple Challenger here is hers. She's there in the back. And there's everything down here, from used parts to new parts, reproduction stuff, NOS. A lot of the folks will come out here from the west coast or the southwest, where they have the nice clean dry sheet metal, and they'll bring it out here to sell for those of us who live in the Rust Belt. Typical parts vendor, they load up a truck or a trailer with everything they have that they either don't need or want to clean out the garage and bring it out here. And with nearly 50,000 swappers running around here and people buying, there's a pretty good chance you'll be able to sell whatever you bring. The car shows here at Carlisle started back in 1974. Just two friends who got kicked out of another show because their car was too new, so they decided to talk to the municipality here about renting the fairgrounds, and they did that for what was considered a new car at the time. And that was back in 1974, and then they started to add additional shows and went from the swap meets to shows to doing all the specialty shows now, and now we run 10 shows a year here.
Stopped at the food court, had something to eat, saw these two guys run past. From bits and pieces from the swap meet, I saw these air cleaners. Mark, welcome to Classic Restos.
How you doing, Fletch?
Good, mate, good. Now tell us, mate, what are you going to do with these big bad 4-barrel air cleaners?
Well, I have a 62 Plymouth Savoy station wagon. I'm going to try to make a dual snorkel, so make one breather out of two.
Cool. This was back in the day. This is how they came. You can't find one, make one. How good's that?
Yeah, that's and I don't know if this is going to be correct, but it'll look kind of correct.
Tell you what, mate. A new coat of lolly over the top and some fancy welding, mate. No one will know the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Got Russ here now. Russ, you've got the other air cleaner, eh? You're two partners in crime, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true. I'm his, like wagon, you could call it.
You're the mule.
The mule, that's right.
Hey, what's the 62 car like? In good condition?
It's beautiful. It's all original paint from California. It's going to be a nice car.
Oh, gee. There's something about this whole environment here at Carlisle. It's absolutely sensational. Can't put words to it. Russ, thanks for dropping by and having a bit of a chat.
No problem. Thank you.
On you, buddy. There's no doubt about it. In this day and age, people are travelling overseas to attend these major motoring events. Now, if you'd like to look at a Carlisle package for 2012, go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Route 66 icon. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back with more Carlisle right after this. Moving through Chrysler's at Carlisle for 2011. Look who I have here, Cindy Williams from Happy Days. Cindy, welcome to Classic Restos.
Well, thank you, Fletch.
Oh, look, we all love you down under.
Well, I love everyone down under.
So how do you feel? You turn up here today, get interviewed for a TV show, Classic Restos. Hey, that must make your day, eh?
It does make my day. It makes the beginning of my day, no matter what time zone we're in, fantastic.
Got to ask you, how's Laverne?
She's wonderful. In fact, I owe her a phone call.
You give her my best, won't you?
I certainly will, Fletch.
Now, Cindy, just quickly, what was it like working with Ronnie Howard back in the Happy Days?
Well, he was still a teen, and he was just wonderful. I mean, he's just a wonderful person, a lot of fun. And even back then, I was telling someone the other day, he'd get out of the car, we'd wait in the cars between takes. He'd get out and he'd talk to Haskell Wexler, the cinematographer. He got back in one time. I said, Ronnie, what are you talking to Haskell about? And he said, oh, I'm asking him about what lenses he's using and framing because I want to be a director someday. And I thought, yeah, right. But anyway.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Turning up here at Chrysler at Carlisle, like when you look at the old cars and the cars that they used back in the series, I mean, is there some emotional attachment here for you?
Well, it does give you, you know, it opens up those sense memories, and especially when I see the Deuce coupe from American Graffiti and Paul riding in it.
Absolutely. Look, I'll let you go. It's been wonderful talking to you. I could talk to you for ages.
Oh, well, thank you,
You're a very popular lady here.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you all very much.
All right. Thanks so much, Cindy, for being on the show, and it's just really great meeting you, huh?
Well, thank you for having me, Fletch.
You're very, very welcome. Earlier with Ed, as we got around on the wheelie cart, we made reference to the Mopar Survivor tent. Time now to go in and have a closer look. You know, walking around the Survivors tent here at the Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle kind of triggers the emotions, puts a tear in your eye. I guess you could relate it to some elderly people sitting around a retirement village. But these are the true survivors, and these are the lucky ones that are left. It's even extra special when you get to catch up with some of the original owners. Now, we've got Charlie here. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, Charlie, explain exactly what a survivor is in a car and what it has to do to stack up to be classed as a survivor.
Okay, a survivor would be a car that is ordered either new or has been maintained in its original condition, and it can exceed no more than 80%. In other words, it has to be 80% original paint, interior, running gear, and as far as minor wear and tear touch-up and not major restoration as far as it's still original. Because our motto is that cars are only original once.
Charlie, you've got a gorgeous 69 Super B. Now, you've had this from brand new and it's been ordered. Not bought brand new, you ordered it, right?
Yes, sir, I ordered it because I wanted it specifically to pull a travel trailer. I'm retired military, but at the time I was active. And I went ahead and I went to the dealer and told them what I wanted, and they said, it was back then, you got what you ordered. Although, because it was unusual to have a Super B with air conditioning and other accessories, that was not common. I wanted a trailer package. It was not offered. I had to wait, 3.5 or 4 months before I got it.
This car obviously means the absolute world to you. I mean, you've had it for most of your life, and you must have been in a good position to buy it brand new at the time. It must have felt good when you bought it brand new. It must have been awesome back in those muscle car days here in the US to buy something brand new and enjoy it. Must have just been an incredible time.
Not really. I drove old clunkers to come from a family of gearheads, and the best part of it was I could make the payments. Like I say, I was a low-grade military person, but it would pull my trailer, and my wife, she insisted on having air conditioning, which in a muscle car was unheard of. And the air conditioning still works today. It's never been recharged.
And a big 383 there. I mean, I bet it hauls the mail, Charlie.
Yes, sir. It's been run. It'll run about 147 if you're pushing it in a hurry. Not anymore now. I keep it under 100.
It's been wonderful talking to you, mate. Great to catch up with you. You know, a true American gentleman with a true American muscle car here at Carlisle. It doesn't get much better than this.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Got Bob now with a gorgeous 1964 Sport Fury. Bob, welcome to Classic Restos. And on that note, you want to know more about me, don't you?
Yeah, I was wanting to ask you just what brought you this far away from home to get up here to film cars in America.
Well, I guess it's a bit of a personal challenge of mine to bring my automotive TV show further afield and bring back the show to the people, to show the people in Australia and New Zealand how good you do things here in the US.
Well, we're glad to have you over here.
Well, thank you, Bob. That's very nice of you.
This is probably one of the better shows for you to come to get a sampling, because there's 115 acres of cars here, and there's a little bit of everything, and there's a lot of parts if you can find it.
I think what's also nice too, Bob, is that if you're a General Motors fan or a Ford fan, Carlisle events caters to those people as well.
Yeah, they have, I think, something like 11 events here during the course of the year. So there's quite a variety of everything here. But this is one of the larger shows.
Absolutely, and it's people like you that make the show so good, especially when you've got an original car that's 47 years old. You were a young fellow when you bought this car. You must have been a bit of a hot rodder.
21 and single, and I'm still a bit of a hot rodder, so one perpetual teenager, yes.
What's the fastest speed that you would have done back in the day out on the streets?
Well, it's a 4-speed car. I have seen it at 117 and third. It doesn't handle very well above about 122. It'll run a lot faster than it's safe to have it on the road to and there's no place now to run it at those kind of speeds. And
I just think it's so good that, you know, how do I say this with all due respect? You're later in life and you've still got the young man's car. I mean, you know, you're going to live to 110 years of age if you keep thinking like this.
I don't know that I'm going to survive that way. My body's kind of like the car. It's aging, too. It's kind of like the story we wrote up here on a little tag that my wife printed out for me late Wednesday before we got ready to load up and come over here, you know.
Quickly tell us that story, Bob.
Well, I mean, the car and I both are getting a little bit thin on top here, so if you look in the right places here, you can almost see the primer where the paint's being rubbed through. But I bought exactly what I wanted. I ordered it exactly the way I wanted it. We even had a little agreement with the guy that we were purchasing it from. He wanted money down on the car before he'd order it with the options and missing the options that I ordered. He asked for $50 down. I had a high school buddy and we bought a matched pair together. Basically, we both wanted something that looked fast and would run fast.
It's a beautiful jewel of a car. Has it been a nice car over the years?
It has been probably the most trouble-free vehicle I've ever had because it still hasn't had anything major done to it at all.
It's a great testament, isn't it?
Well, they built pretty reliable cars at that time. You had a real durable street runner that you could go out and play around with and have a lot of fun with.
Bob, do you still like to give it a bit of a unleash today? Do you ever put the foot down and still feel the power?
We've been known to squeak the tires occasionally at some of these shows. The tires that's on here are 69 model tires. I wouldn't trust them to endure much speed right now. But we wanted to put something back that was pretty close to realistic as to what it was issued on when it was new. It's like the little note here says, you know, it still has most of its original parts are on there. The starter's never been off of it. Still has the original clutch and pressure plate in it after 47 years. Carburetor's original, alternator's original, still got the original radiator in it, hasn't sprung a leak yet.
There's a lot to be said for the water on the eastern side of the US, eh?
Yeah. Well, I live in the Ohio Valley right along the Ohio River, and it's a moist place, so you have to do a little bit of care of taking care of them when you were running it, because it's now got right at 100,000 miles on it. So before it got out of service and we started buying other cars and fixing them up and utilizing them in the system. So,
well, Bob, I could talk to you for many, many hours. It's been an absolute privilege to catch up with you. I really respect you and your vehicle. It's great to travel, you know, almost 20,000 kilometres to the USA and catch up with people like you.
Well, we appreciate having you over here and supporting the Survivor group here. Hopefully other people will pick up on the idea, you know, of trying to maintain a Survivor. I have no idea what to tell them to buy today that might be suitable 47 years more down the road.
A classic car, you know, there's nothing quite like it. But just imagine your classic car at home on your own hoist. Imagine that, giving your car a lift. Your garage would be king of the street. If you want to find out more information about a hoist for your place, go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the advertising company section of the website. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back with more Carlisle right after this.
Hi, my name's Karen, and you are watching Classic Restos with Fletch at All Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle.
One knockout muscle car that roamed the streets of the United States of America back in 1969 was the uncompromised Plymouth Roadrunner. And not only that, this car was also available with an options list as long as you're armed to make it even more potent. To tell us more, here's Randy. Randy, welcome to Classic Restos, mate, the Chrysler at Carlisle edition. Mate, sensational car, sensational car. Now, you have had this a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had this car for over 25 years, and pretty proud of it. It's just completely finished now, and we're here to show it.
I alluded in the intro that this car is fully optioned. Now, just run through some of the options that this car came with back in the day.
Well, this is kind of rare, this car. It has power steering, power brakes. It's got a light package on it, which is trunk light, key light, map, glove box light. Some of the other options are it's got carpet on the floors, buckets, console, power steering, power brakes, wood wheel, tachometer, radio, rear speakers, and I guess the list goes on.
How sensational and how cool for something with so much grunt to have so many, I guess, home comfort features. Interesting enough too, the legendary 440 with a 4-barrel at 375 horsepower, but this one here's stepped up with a 6-pack at 390 horsepower.
That's right. Some people claim it's a little underrated at 390, but that's what it's listed at.
I just don't know how you guys get the power down with those polyglass tyres. I mean, have a go at the width of that rubber out the back there.
It could be a little bit squirrely at times.
Randy, tell us, what's the best thing about this car that you personally love?
A lot of them, you know, the way they drive, the way they look, they got mean looks, so the color combinations are great. You know, it turns a lot of people on.
The way that you've got the 4 pins here and the hood sitting up on top of the engine there, I mean, that's just knockout. I mean, you walk through here, it just hits you straight away. Plymouth Roadrunner.
What more can I say? Like, you know, it's awesome.
Good on you, mate. Keep up the great work. I really respect what you've done with this car. I'm sure you'll agree. I mean, have a go at this. Is sensational. When you talk of a car that's 100 out of 100, that's where you are.
That's pretty decent. I guess it's, you know, 1 over 100, but I think it's pretty cool. And I talked to some people over the past few days, and they didn't make a lot of these cars, as they made about 1,280 of these cars off the line. Some people say there's only maybe a handful of these left in with this options on it.
Good on you, Randy. Keep up the great work, mate.
Great, thank you very much.
We got to Pavilion T at 7 o'clock this morning. It's now 11:15. And speaking of knockout cars, this 1961 300G takes the cake. Take a look at what lurks under the hood of this baby. 1961, remember, we have the 413 max wedge engine with the cross ram induction, 2 4-barrels, 1 either side. This produces 375 horsepower. In terms of the top end, well, it'd have some legs as well, because the rear gears are a 323. Of course, a 727 torque flight with push-button automatic. And apart from the power and the smoothness of the way that this big girl would slide through the gears, we've also got some gorgeous lines, some of the nicest that you'd find on any car, encapsulated with a leather interior, which is also from the jet age, the rocket age. So keep in mind, when this baby was designed, we hadn't even put men on the moon. One look through the window and you have a go at the interior. If you had the money back in the day, you'd just have to tick every option box that you possibly could. 4 bucket seats. Have a go at this. Absolutely sensational. Everything's highlighted inside with stainless steel. We've got stainless steel buttons, chrome-plated embellishments around the speedo cluster, factory tacho down there in the console, air conditioning, power steering. I mean, it's a 300G. I mean, people of the day that bought these cars just wouldn't settle for any less. Moving on from a delightful lounge room car to this big banger here. Back in 1964, if a Dodge Polara pulled up next to you at the traffic lights, the best thing you could have done is give him a wave and let him go. This is the lead up to the 426 Hemi. These were incredibly powerful cars. This is the 426 Ramcharger. On the street, they didn't get much quicker than this. Have a go at some of the features of this massive engine. In fact, they did term it back in the day the Orange Monster. Why a max wedge? Well, the max stands for a wedge engine that's been maxed out. This means camshaft, heads, intake manifold, carburation, and also the Tri-Y exhaust manifolds. Standard max wedge, 413 horsepower on the street with a 426 horsepower option. The exhaust manifolds are outlandish, and it's what would be found at NASCAR. The ruling being that before they could race at NASCAR, the production cars had to have the same running equipment on the street. 4 into 2 into 1. What an awesome configuration. And the best way to scavenge each cylinder to get that gas out the back as quick as possible.
Thanks for watching Classic Restos. If you want to see your car on the show, go to classicrestos.com.au. In the meantime, drive safe, resto your ride and get it on the show. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, Gator, Induction and carsales.com.au.